I was to the shit.
Yo.
Hey.
No,
Hey
everybody.
man, what's happening? What's good? I literally just ran through the front door.
That was good timing. Hi,
mate.
you're right.
Hi, how are you, man? You right, yeah?
I am very well, thank you. We were just kind of complaining about the heat, but also trying not to at the same time because we need it.
Yeah, try not to moan about it. 'Cause, boy, it has been bitterly cold for a couple of months.
Literally. Yeah, we're all good. Thanks
Nice.
for
Dad,
having
what you
me
saying,
on.
man?
Say that again?
Oh, of course. Me or Char?
What's that?
Sorry, I'm probably distant again. Me or Char, did you say to repeat that?
Oh, I don't know actually. I can't remember.
I think we're all just asking each other how we all are. We're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just establish that we're all good.
We're all right. We're all right.
Yeah.
We're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Char.
Just a
Oh,
sec.
that's okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of Levels. Last week I took a break. We've all been working super hard. Got lots of things coming your way. Took a break last week. This week we are back with an artist that we come across last year. Just such a beautiful, soulful tone to her voice, and just caught our attention on Levels. And ever since, she's been so welcoming. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you. Yeah, my name's Char. I am a R&B, dark pop, I'd say, artist, and I'm based mainly in London. I'm also the co-founder of Man Millennials, which is a non-profit mental health organisation. So I kind of juggle my time between doing music, creating new stuff that's kind of authentic to myself, and talking about mental health as well, and through the kind of non-profit charity sphere that we do. So keeping busy. It's obviously been a busy time for the mental health side of things. Music finally is starting to pick up, which is obviously long overdue, and looking forward to just getting back on stage again, like so many other artists that we've had that taken away. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and got lots of new things on the horizon, like the Lev3ls Lounge Live, which will be it's coming around really quickly. I remember feeling like it was just ages and ages away, and when will it ever happen? And now it's
Right
soon.
on us.
I know. But yeah.
Guys, is it 2.5 weeks? Yeah. 2.5 weeks. Char will be down with us at the Looking Glass in Shoreditch for Levels Lounge. I mean, Dan was there last year. That was our first and only one to date, because after that, everything got cancelled.
COVID, man, ruined the vibe.
Lapped us. It ruined it, but at the same time, Dan, you were there, and I think a lot of people were blown away by, no pun intended, the levels of the talent that were there on the night. It was literally like, even me personally, I organized it, but even me, I was just like, whoa, we actually have some really amazing people there. So for this one coming as well, I'm looking forward to it the same way. I know I'm going to be wild. So
well, hopefully it's going to be even better this time.
No, I'm sure it will be better. We've got a few people from the last one, but most of it is new, and like people with a totally different style. You mentioned that you said you was an R&B / dark pop.
Yeah.
Now that's a sub-genre, which a lot of people would just be like dark pop. Explain a little bit as to what you mean by dark pop.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it anyway is a kind of bassier, deeper, kind of both melodically, lyrical wise, and also in the sounding too. I mean, pop, what is that? You know, it has so many different connotations, and essentially it's like popular music, isn't it? But when you think pop, you think, very commercial and very packaged, and, there's some amazing music that's pop. But I think, for me, I kind of identify with more of that kind of sounding, the darker kind of realm of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to just do one type of music anyway. Like, I'm very open to trying lots of different things. I don't think we need to be putting people in boxes and saying, right, that's what they do and that's what they're only going to be able to do. You know, it's good to have and spread yourself into different genres of the industry.
Definitely. I think marketing kind of aspect of music these days, because things are so accessible, and I think it comes also with the fact that everything's evolved so quickly in the world of music, and people have been just collaborating, that people like a lot of different styles, so it just becomes like a mishmash of music.
Exactly.
And whatever genre it falls into, so
exactly
it is what it is. Okay, so tell us a bit more about yourself, like where you from, how long you've been singing, all that good stuff.
All that good juicy stuff. Yeah, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, yeah, just from day dot, really, like the kind of big powerful vocalists like Lauryn Hill, Amy Winehouse, Lily Allen, Whitney, you name it. That was kind of I was drawn to that, but also the kind of raw lyric writing and that kind of expression as well. I was just kind of, right, that's what I want to do. I did psychology at uni, so I kind of didn't go down the conventional music route, whatever conventional is, but then just started, you know, working with producers and writing a little bit more. And I knew that I don't regret doing psychology at uni, because it's kind of led me into the mental health side of things as well, and it's kind of just deepened my, I suppose, horizons and songwriting ability and stuff. But then it was kind of after uni, which scarily a few years ago now, that I've now started sort of just fully kind of going with music, and just I've released a couple of songs, but I'm kind of in a new realm now, and I've got a couple that are on the horizon, which I'm very excited for. So yeah, it'll be good.
Your previous releases, one, was it? I forgot who it was with, a collab with a house or a dance. Artist. Was it end of last year?
Yeah. So that
was it last year?
So that one was Nathan X The Weeknd, but then Who, as in it's their production name's Who, they remixed it. So that did really well. And even though that wasn't the kind of usual genre I'd kind of been falling into, again, like I would definitely do those experiences again. I think you can learn so much from that and just cross genres, and yeah, I'm happy with how that went. So hopefully there'll be more of them too.
No, 100%. I mean, what have you got lined up for us in the coming months or years?
Yeah, so my next two releases, one of them is very soulful, emotive. It touches a lot on like mental health and kind of getting yourself out from a really dark space and kind of turning that around and finding that inner resilience. So that one should be out, I mean, in the next sort of couple of months, 2 to 3 months, which is exciting. And then another one, which I'm super excited about, I've written with a group of women, a group of female writers, and it was kind of in the wake of Sarah Everard's murder, and kind of speaking about that and kind of the experiences that we were all echoing and discussing, and yeah, I think it just felt like the right time to create something that really touched on, you know, the feeling that we were all going through and just acknowledging, but obviously can't all relate to in that way. So it was important to kind of put that into musical form. But I wanted to work with a female producer on that, because only I think like 2 to 3% of producers are women, which is just ridiculous. So yeah, working with a woman producer called Leo, which is super exciting, and that's going to be finished very soon, and hopefully that will be out again in about 2 to 3 months time. So yeah, two things. I mean, I think for me, speaking about mental health and letting that come through in music, and also about women, working with more women, and yeah, just kind of collaborating with them as much as possible, really.
No, 100%. I mean, Dan, we had NDN on, and she was very much, what was her record label? Ada, I think it was called, right? And what was it very, it was mainly catered towards the black women in music. That was cool. I mean, I wanted to touch on this maybe a little bit later, but you've brought it up now, so we might as well jump into it. And Dan, I want to let you kick off any questions that you have.
Yeah.
Firstly about obviously the Sarah Everard thing, but
Yeah.
also just generally the representation or underrepresentation of women in the music industry.
Yeah, it's a bit. First and foremost, can everyone hear me? Because like I've got this brand new laptop here, and it's causing me have a crack now.
I was wondering why you're looking so crispy.
You're all good. You're all good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we've got like not many sort of like you said, there's not a lot of female producers in the game. Why would you say that is? Why do you think that is in terms of women actually getting in there, and what do you think stopping women from actually being in that position?
I mean, I think there's not just coming at it from, I'm not a producer, but coming at it from the artist kind of point of view. I think it's what you see, isn't it? And it's what you're kind of watching being played out of you, who you can look up to, who you can kind of aspire to be like. And if you're seeing or you're not seeing, those positions being filled by women and other minorities, and of course this is just women as a whole, but Black women, and I can't, it's even more so. So I think making sure that there are those roles that we are visibly seeing, I think that's kind of one part of it. And the space as well, I think a lot of the time, not all men obviously, but a lot of men in the industry, like they can kind of be quite maybe dominating in that situation, and I think that might put some women off. I don't know, I'm just kind of, I know I'm generalizing, but I think there's two parts to it. It's the one, not seeing that representation and therefore maybe not thinking that's achievable to you, or it might be that something has happened where you feel like you've either been questioned on your ability or your talent, or you've kind of don't feel safe to express that, and it might be kind of knocked out of you from like early stages. And I can't speak for all women, but I think that is probably a huge part of why, particularly with producers, there's nowhere near what it should be, because obviously we know that the talent's there. And I think there's a women's kind of group called women, so there's Girls to the Front, Women in Control, Hyper Tribe. There are a few of them that are doing amazing things. Girls I Rate, and Women in Control. So Nadia, she did a report last year, I think, and she kind of looked at the UK radio industry, and I think it was like 19% of the top 100 most played songs across the year, only 19% were women, and then that's kind of where the figure of 3% were female producers. So these are like real stats, which is not kind of fabricated or anything. So I mean, trying to figure out the why is always going to be the harder question, but I think we can kind of look around and there are some obvious things as to what's going on. And I mean, I think now in the industry there is much more awareness, which I think is hugely important, and I think there are opportunities that are emerging, and I do think there are a lot of people who are really pushing that, but we're a long way off that. I mean, looking at festival lineups and stuff, it's kind of like, how is this still happening? And obviously, what are festivals right now? We haven't gone to any, but how is this still the case now? And it's like, is there those big artists to fill those spots, or is it just that there's more men? Obviously not. But difficult one.
It is tough. When you look across, like, and Sis will know, like house music, like females have been coming through quite heavy the last couple of years. Like a lot of heavyweight female DJs have been making putting their stamp on things. But within house, it's never really been like an issue, I guess, as much as it is like on a wider sort of like scale. I think some of it kind of boils down to interest as well, like and it obviously ties in with what you said about people being in those positions and maybe young girls being inspired to be in those positions because there's no one there. There is also maybe not that much of an interest for women to be there because there's a ridiculous amount of really, really good, talented female songwriters. There's just not that many female producers. So I think there's a few things that we probably could do to fix that. Whether or not it's going to be done is a different story. and
Yeah.
that's probably where I think where the issue lies. It's not it's a quicker fix than what it sounds like, but it kind of, to get it to happen, a few mountains need to be moved in a way, like to get it to go there. But it is achievable. I think we will definitely see that though in the next couple of years, especially within certain genres as well, like UK sort of, like there's like a lot of UK sort of based females that have been involved in some really huge artists, and they're doing bits, like songs that you didn't even think, and I'll send you a couple, sis, that you didn't even think it was a female behind it, and you're like, oh, like, you know, it's actually like, it actually stomps you and just like, damn, like these girls can really do it if you give them the opportunity. So yeah, it's just crazy.
I think it's interesting as well. You mentioned like, oh, sorry.
No, go on. No, you go on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying it's interesting. You mentioned like, you know, the house genres and dance genres, and sometimes you could argue that maybe not now with social media, but maybe sort of in the past it wasn't as forward facing. So women would kind of maybe not have that kind of, you know, front facing role as much, which thankfully now isn't the case. And then I suppose you could look at that in the sense that with women in the industry, there's a kind of narrative that you have like an expiry date and you're kind of expected to reinvent yourself, and it, you know, it's always in the past anyway being very hypersexualized, and I think that kind of appearance side of it is way kind of higher up on the agenda than it ever is for men. And I think being solo female artists, I think, you know, the world is not nearly as kind as they should be. So you're right.
Having a bit of a coughing fit. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, good.
I got to close that window. Hay fever's attacking me.
Oh,
yeah.
Where's your fan?
You know what? I haven't got the fan on today. Give me a second.
So go on. So what were you saying?
Me? Yeah, no, I was just kind of, you know, thinking of different kind of reasons, I suppose, in my head, and trying to grapple with how we've got to where we are now. And I think, yes, things are getting better. But, you know, I think the whole expectation to have reached a certain point by a certain age, and, you know, of course men feel that, of course the industry is set up to be like that for certain reasons that other industries will not be, but I do think it is particularly more hypersexualized and kind of ageist towards women in that sense. But
you know, as you say that, like you look at some of the artists, and sort of like, we've spoken about this before around, like, especially like in sort of like female excuse me, like rap artists and stuff. the current I know I'm struggling.
so
I'm gonna get it out. So look at Sis, he's dying, like he's dying. He's loving it. Look at his face.
Hey, bro, for that boat water, bro.
You're a fool. Leave me be, bro. Leave me be. Yeah, but like, as you say that, we've got people in that space who kind of promote that sort of like sexualized thing, because I mean, it's 2021. We should definitely not be seeing some of the crazy stuff that you see. Or I don't know if women are being forced to do it, or is it because it sells? Because at the end of the day, it does sell. However,
I know what you're trying to say. And I think we don't really know how much society is evolving.
I'm sorry, guys. Give me a sec. I'm gonna go get some water.
Have a breather. You'll be good.
Babe.
Oh dear.
Blow the house down.
Literally.
Blow the house down, literally, man. God,
not gonna make it.
So what was you gonna say? Continue.
Yeah, I guess we don't know how much of it is society's expectations, and therefore women kind of doing what they think needs to be done in order to, you know, have longevity in the industry, or how much of it is because I don't know. We don't know that, and I'm not going to comment on how an individual artist chooses to express himself, because I think everyone should absolutely be able to do that. But it's the expectations, I think, that then a lot of maybe younger artists coming into the industry think, well, that's what I have to do to stay relevant. That's what I have to do to, you know, and of course it's way more than that, but yeah, it does make you think.
It is. I was going to touch on a couple of things. I'll start off just finishing that. We actually talk regularly about, say, your Cardi B, for example.
Yeah.
We talk about Cardi B a lot in this, simply because she's obviously one of the biggest female stars currently. But you look at it and you look at how many she follows suit. Dressing the way she does, being just wild and out there, showing boobs, bum, whatever it is. And it's almost like, damn, this is what people have to do for the level of attention that people are craving. Also because of social media. Social media doesn't help, because I'll just go on TikTok and I just see the wildest things. I'm seeing, in fact, even my stepdaughter, she doing dances and singing songs. She has no idea what the hell they're saying. Like, nah. Stop it.
Yeah.
It exposes them to these things and you can't help it, effectively. You really can't help a lot of what's going on. Another thing you were talking about breaking into the industry or trying to do what you feel that you have to do is Pink. Pink's was one of my favorite artists. Her very first album, because that was R&B Pink, and she so R&B Pink for me was cold. I still listen to her album to this day, personally, but she openly also admits that she only did that because she wanted to get in, and she had this kind of R&B kind of edge to her, which she could slip into that industry thing and then make her breakthrough. Then slowly she got Pink that we all know nowadays, which is the Pink she's going to be. So sometimes I guess it's conforming, unfortunately, to sometimes what is around. And I think, thankfully, on that part, we kind of moved away. Welcome back. We kind of moved away from artists, women having to conform and do things like Pink did, be an R&B, and then come back and be pop, or not pop, rock. Just Pink.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Lastly, another point. So, go on.
Yeah, no, I think that regardless of what that conforming looks like, I think I can understand how people feel like the pressure to do that, because, you know, if you want to make the music that you want to make and you're trying to do that, but you're not, you know, you might be hitting a brick wall because, you know, competition out there and there's a lot of, you know, people in the way, that then you therefore think, right, well, I'll just try something that doesn't necessarily feel as me, but maybe it will get me through that door. And I don't think people should judge that necessarily, because it's a stepping stone to where you want to get to then be able to do the stuff that you want to do. And I think everyone's got to try lots of different things in the same way as in any industry, in any career, you would do things. And it doesn't mean it's not completely aligned to you. It's just, you know, you're figuring out your journey yet and just trying to get out there.
Yeah, get a foot in, basically.
Yeah.
Get a foot in. Are you touching about how the 19% of was it 90% of radio tracks were women?
Yeah, 90. Yeah, on the report that was done last year, not only 19% of the top 100 songs played across that time, 19% were.
I find that shocking though, because for Lev3ls, for example, most of the artists that we have or were so willing to come forward, all women.
Yeah.
Dominated.
The men I had to go and actually seek out to say, do this, and even then they would. And I was just thinking,
but it's interesting.
What's the underrepresented? Like it's so easy to find female artists who want to sing, who are amazing singers, and that's it. Like even the lineup coming up, the two guys that are on the bill were recommendations from one of the artists. So I actually had to get her help to get them on board. Aside from that, there would have been no male artists, or one won a competition. So that we did.
I think.
So that's
I don't know.
Me so much.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to wonder that as well. And I don't know. I think the male artists in the kind of top top level, and the ones getting the plays, the one getting the awareness around them, I think there might be, their success rate is like, you know, that you see them a lot there and there's more visibility, but actually emerging artists and the ones that are putting themselves out there on Instagram, maybe something's kind of not adding up there. I'm thinking, do the men that are kind of picked and then taken to the top type thing, and then there's a lot of women who just aren't getting those spots and they're all kind of navigating lower down? I don't know is the answer to that, but I would agree with what you're saying. I think, but that could just come down to the social media thing.
Yeah, I want to get a female radio DJ on this actually. I haven't hollered at her just yet. I'm sure I can get her on board and explain a couple things. Although she does mainly dance, but mainly hopefully she can shed some light on stuff. But I think it, as a DJ myself and Mason, I think I've always said we've got some of the most important jobs when it comes to music, both in the club and on radio play, because it's down to us actually. Like we kind of create the what's it called, the
narrative.
Yeah. Because we kind of pick and choose. Okay, cool. We want to hear this artist. We want to hear this artist, and there's not enough of that. I'll never forget. I was 16 years old in America, and I would hear the same 5-6 songs on rotation the whole day.
It's nuts.
The whole day, but we are coming like that. We are actually. We don't have 5-6 songs, maybe 10, let's say.
Yeah.
We actually have.
Yeah.
And I think as DJs, we have that onus on us to really try and bring that forward more. But the people on radio, there's very few. There's actually very few actual DJs on radio. That's what the funny thing is. There's very
who
few
are actually choosing the songs that they're playing. Yeah,
it's all playlisted for them, and you've got somebody in the background actually keeping up the music. Whereas if it was me and Mason, or if you even watch Mason on Sundays, you're seeing the guy mixing, you're hearing him mixing. Yeah. There's very few of those original DJs who are actually on radio these days. This is what
thanks.
Ushering. What?
Take that.
I'll take that. Be nice to me.
Yeah, I'll be nice. You having coffee, I'll be nice to you today.
Mate, I have no idea what's wrong with me. I do apologise, everyone. I am struggling with this cough, but I think I've got it under control. I've got strep. What these Strep-sils? Oh, mate, I had to draw for them.
Bless you. That's all you need.
Yeah.
But but in the industry, I think that's what it is. And then fine, as soon as we're on this anyway, let's go specifically, and I specify British female artists because obviously we're in Britain. But I genuinely think there are so many, apart from Adele, who just got this worldwide love.
Yeah.
I think there's so many good artists, female artists who have come and gone, or who are still doing their thing, are so overlooked. Now my question is, as I personally feel they're underrepresented, hence the title. Do you think they're underrepresented? And if so, why?
I definitely think there is a kind of underappreciation and kind of just I just don't think they're getting the same level of exposure as, like you said, the big male artists at the top. I think we're hearing about new talent, and I think that's really important, but there is a gap between, you know, there, and I don't know why and how that's being missed out. What do you think, Dan? I'm interested to know your thoughts. If your throat can handle it.
But if my throat can handle it, I'm gonna get it out there. Wow. I still see a lot of female artists, but
female.
Say that again. Yeah, I still see a lot of female artists. British female artists. Oh, it's harder and harder to see them out there. Um, I'm not sure what it is. I really can't put my finger on it.
I don't know whether there's just the space, like there's almost like feels like there's like this limited space at the top where it just kind of becomes, the filter just gets more, and naturally, you know, there can't be room for millions and millions of people. You have to have some level, otherwise it would become, you know, oversubscribed and it would lose its kind of impact. But I just do think it's getting, the filtering at the top is just going a bit skewed.
Yeah, I agree. I think coupled with the fact that I think artists that come out of the UK, apart from your Georgia Smiths and your LMAs, who have unfortunately gone out and done a couple of good things as well. I think a lot of our artists are based on, say, the more traditional type of singing, which has unfortunately kind of phased out of music. So you see a lot of female artists who collab songs, or if you're saying on a house track, will be doing a whole bunch of practice, for example. But that's not what you kind of want to do. You want to be a bit more in the forefront. So I think it's also a case of maybe make a bit of the narrative in how female artists out of Britain sing. Maybe have to shift. Maybe do a pink. and do a comedian. Just do a R&B or something like that. Then say, okay, cool, I'm gonna flip on you, because this is what I'm really about, and this is what we're talking about conforming before. Maybe it has, maybe a bit to do with that.
Yeah, maybe men have been able to do that, and in a way that women haven't. I don't know. That sounds ridiculous, but yeah, it's definitely a big wonder. I think there's lots of research being done. There's lots of stats and awareness, and we're seeing that, but the kind of why, and I guess the deeper way of that is, you know, kind of going that the whole system is massively male dominated, and but you know, it's a very cynical way of looking at it. But I think there is one part of that, the people at the top, and
I think the female artists that have come out of the UK in the past, I think there's especially like you mentioned, like Adele. I mean, that woman set the bar pretty high, man. Like, jeez. Like, let's be realistic. She set the bar really high for UK female artists, because she's so vocally, she's so good.
She's the best.
Okay, but fine. If we pause now, okay, I'm going to ask you. Let's go early 10-year span, okay, 10-year window, from 2010 to 2020. I'm going to ask you both, start with you, name 3 American singers. Go.
Over the last 10 years?
Over the last 10 years. I'm going to ask you American singers.
Oh, American singers. Yeah. So, like, Beyonce, she's the biggest one in America. Then you'd have, like, Ariana Grande. Obviously, you can't argue with that. Like Selena Gomez, Camila Cabello, all of the the list goes on. I know where we're getting at.
Mason, you go.
Yeah, I was actually going to say Beyonce. Thanks for stealing that, Sean. To be honest, I'm really, really crap at recalling names. Like, in terms of songs, and this is how I organize my DJ sets. I just kind of know songs, and I associate them with me physically seeing them on my screen. I think there's been quite a few female singers, sort of like American singers, but I just can't bring the names to the forefront of my head right now. Apart from like the Beyoncés and the bait ones like that, I can't really bring them to. Oh, is she American though? Because I'm kind of claiming her for the Caribbean.
Who?
Yeah, Rihanna. She's from Barbados, so you know I'm gonna take that one.
I think the point is that, like, the biggest female artists have come out of the US, really.
Yeah.
Except from Adele. Yeah.
But I think it's also the fact that I don't think the British support enough of the artists that we produce.
Over there.
No, just here. Like, us British people here don't support us. LMA was released booed up 2 years before it actually came out. 2 full years
I know,
before it came out.
literally nuts.
Until DJ Mustard said, you know what, this song's great, I'm just gonna tweak it and I'm gonna put it out. Then boom, DJ Mustard. It blew up in America first before it came back here.
Yeah.
Like,
I do
like
think
how do you see that kind of stuff? Like that's a great song, like international smash. We had that.
But maybe it is. I just thought of more like people like Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, like all of the incredible female artists that we hear on the radio. And don't get me wrong, I do think, you know, there's some radio stations that are better at it and some that do support young artists. I'm not completely criticizing, but I think a lot of the songs that we hear from female artists on the radio, 90% of the ones of the 19% are probably American as well.
That's true. That's true. But then that's where we come along, like
as listeners,
working close with Mason because he does community radio, EST radio. So I've sent him a whole bunch of music, and now all the music that I've sent him, we've had all British artists. I think there's about 7, 8 British artists, and one of them was American.
Yeah.
What's sad about that, and I'm not even gonna lie, and I'm sorry if any of the other guys will see this.
Oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do. I knew he was gonna say that. Oh my god, I knew he was gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say that.
I'm gonna call it one. I'm gonna keep it 100 though, bro.
I wasn't gonna say that.
That's because of production. Hold on, Mason, you're gonna sit here and lie and not tell me that tune is a banger.
Look.
See?
Okay.
Can't do it. Fine, you know what? Take a shot.
Oh, listen. Out of all of the female music that has been handed to me, she is very good. I think the only person that I've heard so far is what's her name? She was at the last Lev3ls event. Yeah, the only other person that I feel is kind of like so far. Obviously, I haven't properly heard you, Char. I'm waiting for that. I will be there, and I'm expecting some fire. It's front and center. I'm gonna stare you out like. I'm joking. No pressure, no, I'm playing. But in terms of the music that's been kind of handed to me, to play on the show, it's definitely them two. Essence is really, she's really good in sort of like, she's a package though. So in terms of when we're looking at sort of like artists, she is like a package. She has the swagger, she has the, you know, her voice is really strong, and she's found her sort of like her lane. She's found what works for her. I think kind of Effie's got the same thing as well. She knows where she is as an artist, and like she, you know, her voice is very, very strong. So, but I think traditionally we have had, you know, a lot more strong female US singers. If you look at, like, I'm talking like going back like 30 to 40 years, like, bro, like Tina Turner was on TV the other day, and I was like, wow. Like even I was like, Whitney Houston, my mom used to bang that every Sunday, like religiously, and that woman's voice was just insane. So they have set the bar insanely high. It's just nuts. It is nuts. I think the US, plus their population is what? It's massive, man. They've got at least 3 times. Do you know what I mean? They've got a bigger pool of talent as well.
Yeah, I think there's that, and then there's also, maybe not with the kind of Whitneys of the world, but kind of artists now, the ones that are signed. There's a lot of money plowing into a lot of those artists to work on the full package, which I think is a part of it. And I think that, you know, that shouldn't be not looked at as well.
I mean, you personally, you're currently independent.
What's that?
I said you're currently an independent artist.
Yes, independent artist.
Yeah.
So obviously that there's positives to that, and there's also negatives.
So, what are the positives from that?
I guess it's like having your own autonomy, deciding the kind of direction that not having to be as accountable to, you know, other people's opinions that don't really align with yours. Creatively, you can kind of you can do what you want rather than thinking, you know, I need to make this for the X person and it needs to equal XXX. But then I do think that I don't know, every artist is different, and I think it depends what you want from your career, and it depends what your next like level up is. And I think you don't need huge marketing, you know, money chucked at you to be a good artist and to connect with people. But I think in terms of reach and having that platform, I think a lot of that does come from, yeah, you know, being signed. But I think now as well, the good thing is that, you know, distributors they can do that. There's like label services and stuff. I don't think the conventional sign a record deal and that will be the answer to all your problems. I think there's lots of different ways to go at it. So I think it's exciting. I think it means that there's more people going for it, but I think that there's more opportunities than there ever has been. And I think it's exciting time to be an artist.
Would you if someone actually offered you a deal, let's say tomorrow, would you take it? Would you leave with the position that you have now, where you have like almost absolute control, and then be put into sort of like whatever their idea of what you should be is? Would you take that?
I mean, how long's a piece of string in the sense that like what's the deal? Like I know what you're trying to mean, and I think if it was just literally yes or no, and I couldn't see what the deal is,
yeah.
I don't know. I think, you know what, though, I just think I'm very much a believer that if like an opportunity presents itself, I think it's important to investigate it and see. And I think, you know, we're all doing these things. We're not at. I'm nowhere near where I want to be in my career yet. So I think I've got to be open to other routes, but that doesn't mean that I'm pining everything into that. And I think that that's a be all and end all. I think it's just about having the conversation, having the control, knowing the team around you, being comfortable with who is involved, and having that strength to be able to say, yeah, that's right for me, no it's not, and being like setting those ground rules from the beginning. I think that's what I'd do. Who knows?
I think
who knows?
We had Jermaine on, right? We had Jermaine on a couple of weeks
through two,
and he was
3 weeks ago.
How it changed, because he was started an independent label that was based in Norway, and then what's it called, Neo freed him, and then he just sat on the shelf for a while. So I mean, it sounds like a crazy world, like the music industry business, and it's something like I just love talking to you artists about. And like, have you gone through anything like kind of like
Did you say
drama?
Did you say Neo?
Yeah, Neo.
What did you say about him?
Oh, like the guest that we had on, I think 3 weeks ago now. He had been signed to Neo's label, and then once he got signed, he kind of just sat on the shelf for a little while while they tried to figure out. And that's why I kind of asked you that question, because I understand that labels do try and sort of like clip your wings a little bit, like and you know, and that's why I said, like, would you take that deal, like because, you know, having someone else kind of then sort of like step in on your creativity, for me that would be quite annoying. But like, it's kind of nice to talk to artists and find out what you guys think, because I like being in control when it comes to creative things. Like, I just feel like you can't control creativity. You just have to just be like, you know, if someone has a vision and you buy into the vision, fine, like whatever. But if you're creative, like artists and stuff, I feel like you should just be allowed to just be you know.
I think having a good manager, and I think having good like promo teams around you, I think that's way more important. And I think there's ways of generating money to be able to do the stuff that labels would want you to do, and I think you would then have that autonomy. But equally, I think it just completely depends, and I don't know right now what I would do, but I would definitely be open to conversations, but I would make sure that it just feels right for me. And I don't think that's what I'm chasing. I think what I'm chasing is that connection. But it's weird that you say Neo, because he put a video out the other day and it was like, want to support independent artists and people, you know, doing their thing. And then a few of my friends like tagged me, and like random people were tagging me in the thing. And then his account, anyway, I'm not saying it was him, could well have been his PA or whatever, but his account sent me a message being like, oh, you must have some good stuff, blah, 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 sent it across. And then he just came back, whoever was on Neo's account, with all this like pricing of how much to pay for him to post things on his stories and him to post things on this. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, you know, things cost money, but I also thought that video was supposed to be him. Yeah. And I thought it was him.
Wait, hold on.
I'm not taking you.
Pause.
It was like $300 for me to put it on my story.
My man reached out and was like, yeah, I'm supporting people. I just need your money first.
Literally, right. Is this how it is? Am I going mad? Like, is this normal? And I was like, even if I had that money, do I want to pay him $800 for him to put it on his story? Not really. Well, maybe I should. I don't know.
I don't. You know what? It all depends, because obviously you have to look at sort of like the fan base that he has and just think like, are those the kind of people that I want to be speaking to anyway?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a sticky one. Like, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was like, who would you work with? Like, if you had an opportunity to work with a sort of like another powerhouse sort of like female artist, who would that be?
What, in terms of like
currently living, of course. No, currently living. We're not gonna, you know.
Time, man. Resurrect somebody else.
Because you know what I mean. There's some amazing dead female artists, right? And no disrespect to them at all. But
sadly, that's probably not possible in this realm.
Of course.
So I would want to work with, rather than just doing a collab and then having potentially a male artist to do it, I would work with like female producer, maybe like Charlie XCX. I think some of the stuff that she does is unreal. I think that would be really cool. I would definitely work with, you know, Georgia Smith, fucking beautiful voice. But yeah, I think I would go for Charlie XCX. I think that would be a fun one.
Dope.
That's a good collab.
Sick.
Char and Charlie, that would work.
I can see you've already thought that through.
I thought about it the other day and I was like, that would be good.
No, that's my person. That's who I'm going with.
Yeah.
All right, fair. Sort of like UK artists.
She is British though. She just lives in America.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But what I was actually going to ask you was like, sort of like, who at the moment that's sort of like a budding artist that's sort of like just sort of like charting or something, like which one of those people that you look up to, any of those people and feel like you can probably follow in their footsteps, or like anyone that you can kind of sort of like not relate to, kind of like would want to sort of like almost be like, I guess.
So an artist that I've kind of been following like from when she wasn't as big as she's getting now was Ray, but she's started doing a lot of dance stuff, which I think is amazing and I love it. But I was watching her on a documentary the other day, and she started off doing a lot of R&B, and I think that is where her heart's at. But I think what she was saying in this documentary is she's had to take those opportunities in order to, like we were saying earlier, maybe get a foot in, and now she's getting playlisted on stuff. And I'm not going to speak for her, but just she shone a light on that in the documentary that made me think, oh, okay, maybe, you know, that's why she's taking those opportunities. But yeah, vocally in the kind of direction she was going at, I love Sinead Harnett. She's incredible. The guy who produces her stuff, not produces, like mixes and masters and everything, does a lot of mine. So her, I think she needs more recognition than she gets. Yeah, there is a lot, but I think it's also important to kind of create your own path, and I think anyone that's sort of too close to you and kind of where you're at, it can then become a bit, oh, they're doing this, why am I not doing that? Oh, they're doing, you know, and it can become quite difficult to kind of deal with mentally. And I think it's important to try not to emulate it too much, but just see what other people are doing and kind of, yeah, aspire, but not obsessively.
Copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Sis?
A bit about mental health actually throughout this. First of all, describe how's the past year been for you?
Well,
Forest and shit.
I feel like my room's getting really dark. Can you still see me? I'm like getting close to the thing. I actually found the first lockdown, and I feel I'm very aware that it was not like this for everyone, and it, you know, it was awful for many people, but I actually enjoyed it personally. I think I needed that time, and I needed to stop running 100 miles an hour. I've gone straight back to that now, so clearly I've learned absolutely nothing. I'm like, why am I getting burned out? I'm like, I haven't learned from the last, but I actually really I enjoyed it, because I just, you know, just chilling really. I was just treated a bit, you know, like a 3-month holiday, and then, you know, I was doing bits and bobs and getting back into work and stuff, but initially it was nice. So mentally I was okay, and I didn't feel as anxious, because I think I wasn't trying to do everything, and I was getting enough sleep, and I was, you know, focusing and routine in my day, which I hadn't had before. But now I'm interestingly feeling a bit more kind of just adrenaline, anxiety, a bit manic at times. And I think it clearly shows what triggers in my life are the things that are doing that. But I'm okay. And I think comparatively to how I was very mentally unwell about 8 years ago now, and I think that was the start of me setting up my mental health charity. So I always kind of compare things back to that, and I'm like, I've learned so much, and I'm in such a better place, and now I just want to help as many people as I can through that, I suppose. And I know for so many people the pandemic and this whole year and a however long has been awful. So I think because I've been okay, I've just kind of used that as fuel for the time being.
No, 100%. I mean, for me personally, I didn't stop because I work in a hospital, so nothing really stops me. Although things slowed down, and I did enjoy it, but it allowed all of this, which is happening now for Lev3ls, actually to be like born.
Of course.
From the Lev3ls down to this show, to talking to more to artists and stuff like that, it all was just like seamless, and I was just like, you know what, I could easily sit down and just be like, oh, this is happening, this sucks, blah 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 blah. But I'm always like a glass half full kind of person, and I was like, okay, cool, what can actually come out of this? And there's a lot of good things that I guess, but it's always interesting because you're one of the few people who have said the first one, especially anyway, was quite nice. People say, oh, it's horrible, it's this, that, the other. People go through so much stuff. I mean, you touched on, you said you went through something 8 years ago. Do you want to delve deep into that? Not deep into that. Do you want to delve into that a little bit? Not so much. I'm always got hope.
No.
If you don't.
I think No, I mean, I put enough out there, and I'm very comfortable talking about it. But yeah, I think the first one in terms of lockdown, I'm aware it wasn't like that for anyone, and I know that very privileged to have not had a lot of the stresses that a lot of people did. The last one was probably worse because it was dark, it was winter, and it was like, when are we getting out of this? My mental health, I've always been super anxious as a person, but it was really in like, I went traveling, a couple of bad experiences happened, and I developed a type of OCD called Puro. So essentially what Puro is intrusive thoughts. So it's like, have you ever thought about a fleeting thought that is really unpleasant, and you just go, okay, don't know why I thought that, let that thought but just pass me by and don't like identify with it. And what happens when you have this type of OCD? Not a good time for a coughing fit. What happens? I just feel like I'm sitting in the dark here, but hopefully you can still see me. Oh, good. Yeah, so I found that my brain and the way that people with pure O develop it is that they think that all of the thoughts that they have is what they want to happen. So really scary, really frightening. And I thought all these like violent thoughts, and I was traveling and I was in all these beautiful places, but couldn't have felt further from that mentally. And then I came back from traveling, started uni, and I was just having panic attacks, like 10 a day. I don't think I could really distinguish a time when I wasn't having it. It was just constant panic attacks, ambulances, like going to doctors multiple times a week, and just thinking I was dying all the time, basically, which was really, really intense, really, really scary, really frightening. And I moved back home from uni for a few months, and that kind of period of my life just blurred into one long day. I don't really remember it, other than just having very extreme fear, extreme anxiety, and just slowly things managed to get a bit better. I kept going to the doctors, and I was like, I think I've got a brain tumor. I think I've got this, that, and the other. And they were like, no, you haven't. Very dismissive. I mean, this was back in 2013. So it took a long time for me to get the help that I needed. And I think that, again, has now fueled me to do what I do now with the mental health side of stuff, because had I not have had the support network that I had I not, had understanding of psychology and bits of mental health understanding, I don't really know whether I would have stuck around to tell the tale type thing. So I had to push harder and harder, finally got the support that I needed, and then went on medication and had lots of therapy. And yeah, this was about 9 years ago now. Yeah, 2013. So 8 years ago. Yeah. So it was a slow road, but things got better. I went back to uni after a few months and did really well at uni and made some really good friends and started talking about things more. And that's kind of why I got to the point of being like, we need to create a support network for other people our age that don't have the support that I did. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you very much for sharing that, man. Like that's
okay.
that's crazy. Like that's intense. How did you actually get past it? How did you get to the point where you are now?
Yeah, I think a multitude of things. I learned as much as I could. I had therapy. I spoke to therapists, different types of therapy. I went on medication, and I think it's a personal choice. It shouldn't be given to everyone, but for me, it was helpful. I needed it. Time, which I know is a bit annoying if you are in the depth of struggling, but it is. I very much believe like just holding on and just believing that how you feel right now will not be how you feel in 5 minutes time, let alone a year's time. And I think when you're really in the depth of mental health struggles or a mental illness, I think it can be really difficult to see that. So I'm quite a talkative person, in as much as I would tell my friends how I was feeling and I would be quite vocal about that. But not everyone is, and not everyone can be. So I think the people that can, it's using our voices to speak about that stuff so people don't feel like there's something wrong with them, because I spent years thinking there was something deeply wrong with me. And the more you talk about it, the more you realize that, I wasn't particularly unique, and many people have gone through what I've gone through and worse. So yeah, I think it's just important to talk about it, and I'm glad that I was able to do that and get the support that I needed at the time.
Talk to us about the charity. Like,
go on.
That's right. Talk to us about the charity, man. Like, let's give us some details on how that's going.
Yeah, so it's called Mad Millennials, and it's very like tongue-in-cheek kind of name we came up with. And essentially, we've got 12 different areas up and down the UK with volunteers. So in lockdown, we got some funding from the National Lottery, and we trained volunteers in like mental health first aid training, suicide prevention training, and now they deliver support groups to people who are struggling and they just feel like they need somewhere to go, have a bit of a chat, talk about various issues like anxiety or low mood, money worries, all that kind of stuff, rather than it being, intensive therapy. We're not taking away from that. It's just having that safe space. So the aim is to kind of have more and more of those groups operating, like I don't run them, like I oversee it, but having more volunteers and then doing that, and then everyone knows, okay, I go to the GP, I'm struggling, I'm now being put on a 6-month waiting list, and they're giving me medication when I don't feel like I want it. Oh, but there's a support group, a Man Millennials group, where I can tap into until the therapy comes around, or maybe that will be enough for me, or whatever that is. So that's the kind of premise, and that's kind of what we're doing at the moment. So it's going well.
That's dope.
It's hard
That's
work
dope.
juggling it all, but yeah.
Yeah, so you're balancing like 3 things at the same time. I take it that you do have like a normal job as well.
Yeah, I have I make some money. Yeah, I have a part-time officey job 3 days a week. So that's becoming a bit challenging doing that as well. But it's all right.
Taking it all on.
Have you ever thought of what's it called? Creating a living specifically for music artists?
Yeah, I definitely think I would. It is definitely about capability at the moment and not wanting to spread myself too thinly and then do it sort of half-heartedly. I think we're just building what we're building at the moment. But I work with
Oh, she took a drop.
We lost you for a second there.
I have the phone like balancing or something, and it all just sort of collapsed. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah, you're good. You're back. Go on. What were you saying?
I'm back. I was saying there's a kind of community group called Hyper Tribe, which I do. I like run mental health sessions for the artists on there once a month. So I'm I do that, and I definitely would do more of that in the future, but one thing at a time.
Of course.
No, I'm only asking because, funnily enough, dealing with levels, you'd be surprised because we take quite a personal approach with a lot of artists. Like, I have your number, I text you, how are you?
Yeah.
And that's with, I think, nearly all the artists that we deal with. I actually have a personal relationship with them. But there's also some who have very openly come out with, they've got these kind of suicidal thoughts and all these troubles and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, see, now in these times, it's going to be definitely harder for artists, especially every time that question. Yeah. And you touched on it earlier. Artists, especially female artists, they always feel they've got running out of time. They've got like an expiry date or something like that, or they're so great that it seems unsurmountable that they can't even reach. So I think all these things pile up. That's the reason I asked that. It's a worry to me. No, it's like their sunshine and other minutes. Probably a little bit bipolar. Nobody's diagnosed, but that's what I'm saying. There's sunshine 1 minute and then thunder for a minute, and it's literally. I think it's really important thing to think about. Yeah, and for you as well, and having this platform and speaking to artists daily and kind of hearing where they're at. I think it is something that. You and a lot of organizations in a way need to think about, but also not take it on and not, you can't do it all. But I think if some organizations to signpost to, or just the basics in order to be able to say, okay, you're feeling like this, I'm not going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, but just have a few kind of pointers initially, then that can kind of just help somebody just get a bit clearer in the mind. But clearly people feel comfortable in sharing that, which I think's a good sign that you're having that open dialogue that a lot of people probably would just stay away from. No, 100%. I think it's so important. I think people, especially when you come to social media, it's such a false reality which is lived through the pictures and the videos which everybody shows you. And sometimes again, it's all just people get sad about it. It's nuts, isn't it? Yeah, and we're all part of it, and we all do it because it, we don't all do it, but you know what? It just gets you in it, doesn't it? It gets you.
I'm dipping from social media, like I'm slowly I'm slowly the man is I'm slowly creeping towards the exit because I've realized that it has had a negative impact on just me as a person. Like. I'm just sick and tired of seeing perfect. Nah, bro, F that. Like, no one's perfect. We're not all perfect. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And like, if as a DJ, and like obviously with the stuff that we do, like Levels and all the other things that I'm kind of involved in, I always have to be online, posting stuff and doing X, Y, Z, and you just sometimes get stuck into these little rabbit holes. But then those rabbit holes are not really good for you, you know. And I just kind of just,
what you mean.
yeah, it's mad. So I haven't posted anything for a bit because I'm slowly trying to dip. And if, to be quite honest, it's because you hit me up the other day and you were like, we need to do some work on, because obviously we got all the events coming up and we need to put some work into it. That is the only reason why I'm on social media right now. Like, I'm telling you, I need a moment. I need a moment.
Someone said something the other day about how treat social media like a sauna, in the sense of like, go in, do what you need to do, get what you need to get out of it, and then get out.
Post and ghost.
A lot of the time, just get posted it literally. And I think we get sucked into the other side of it, which is like the kind of consumerist aspect, which I think is just,
that's how you grow.
It's not healthy. It's not helping.
That's how you grow.
I don't think it's helping.
That's why it's social media. Like, you
no.
have to be social.
No, no. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know when people talk about like sliding into people's DMs and all that, big man, I'm not about that life. Like I'm just not.
No, no. How do you even think that I even come across that? More to the point, in fact, you know what's crazy? And I always tell you this story, Mason. The first time I actually ever heard of you, although it should have been well before that. Your representative slid into my
Yeah.
The thing is, irony of it.
I know.
We need it to an extent, but I think it's about trying to like curate it to what's healthy for us. And like you say, you're fed up of seeing perfect. So I think the kind of other side of that would be, okay, unfollow every account that makes you feel like a bit icky or a bit like, oh, why am I following them? Curate it to be just music, or for me with my mental health stuff, just positive mental health stuff. I mean, you know, if it's not helping your mental health, don't go on it, obviously. But if there's still elements of it that are helpful, and like for an artist as well, there's two folds to it. One, we need to be seen to doing stuff on there in order to create, you know, fan engagement and brand awareness and rah-de-rah-de-rah. But then there's the other side of it, is opportunities are on there. Levels are on there. There are opportunities that you don't have the luxury of saying no to unless you are already a big established artist. So, you know, it's figuring out how you can make it work for you, I think.
And I think that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I haven't completely dipped, is because every time I decide to dip, like an opportunity just kind of pulls me back in, and I'm like, oh. But it's so good for the opportunities.
That's reminds me of when one of your last posts was. So somebody reposted you, did they?
Yeah. It's mad. I didn't expect that. It was just one of them ones where I was just like, you know what? I just put bits out that I'm feeling. Obviously, I got this brand new flipping laptop, and my music library is all over the place. And I'm in two minds about buying new equipment. It's a madness for me. However, yes, as Sis said, Busta Rhymes and his people reposted some stuff that I did the other day, and he's been trying to make a huge deal out of it for time. And I'm just trying to chill, I'm just out here trying to chill, and this guy is going off, and I'm like, bro, let's just be. Can I just be like this chilled, meek person and just relax and not really sort of like. I'm not.
No, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah, but I don't know. I try not to.
I'm gonna gas it. Busta flipping rhymes. I'm gassing it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
I know what you mean. It's a balance, and I think if it sounds like you've got a pretty good one, the fact that can happen and does happen to you, you're being quite chilled and humble about it. I think you kind of got it all right.
I just don't want to sing about it. Like I'm like, it's happening.
When you come to London, you're gonna be tour DJ. I bet.
You know what? It's because and this is the thing, and I said this to you before. Like when people. The social media thing is great, And I think when it's like obviously the way you two connected. When you have a genuine interest in someone, everything just slaps different. Do you know what I mean? Like when you actually, it's like, let's say like you actually got a chance to work with Charlie, it would just be different, like because you are a genuine fan of that person. And I think when you do stuff with that in mind, because it's not the first time I've posted something about Busta Rhymes. He has always been like my number one rapper, like from early doors. And when you do stuff where you actually really enjoy it, and that's kind of what the lockdown taught me, was to just, you know what, like F all of the stuff that is just like pointless, like the stuff that you're not really feeling, all that kind of stuff, and just live more of like sort of like your truth or what you actually want to do. So like as an artist, like, and that's one of the reasons why I asked you about sort of like if someone came in with a crazy deal, would you give up your complete creativity to have someone clip your wings and kind of, do you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. And that's what's kind of happened to me over lockdown, where I've just been like, you know what, I'm playing in all these flipping places. Half of the time I'm numb inside because I'm looking out at the crowd playing songs that I absolutely dislike. And I'm just like, okay.
It's got to be more like this,
And now I'm just like, you know what? I'm saying no to things because I'm just like, I'm not leaving my house. And it sounds like I'm some kind of, I'm not a superstar, like far from it. But I kind of just, if I'm doing this music thing, because it's where my that's my creative space, I'd rather just go to a place where I'm really going to enjoy it. So like the Lev3ls Lounge, seeing new music that pop off, like obviously looking forward to seeing all of the acts down there that day. Like all of that kind of stuff that really kind of got me into music in the first place. I'd prefer to just do that. I don't even want to get paid. Like I'm not here for the money. Like I'm kind of just here because I enjoy music, and that's kind of what it's like. I went off the path a little bit because I was like, let me get that check, and I was there. Like, you know, how much you pay me? Okay, I'm there. Like that kind of thing. I'm like, thank God for the lockdown because go on.
You need those experiences to happen in order for you to realize that. Otherwise, you'd always maybe be like, oh, should I have, you know, done those club gigs and stuff? You've done them. You've seen the side of it, and now you can set boundaries and do what feels right for you. And I think that's what we all should do. But you know,
bills need to be paid.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I've got the side hustles.
Yeah, don't we all?
That's why you got
this. A fan in my face.
you listen, you know what?
Melting here.
I would love to open the window in here, but it just invites the bugs in. Like I know. It's like I've got because I've got a backyard, and like I've already killed a spider today. I don't want to keep murdering insects, bruv. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's long. So it's as soon as I open these windows, it's like they're like, oh, hi, and they start crawling in, and I'm like, it's like I become the Terminator because I start swinging, you know, and it just gets nasty. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
it's the light. They like the light, don't they? Like
exactly. But like I'm boiling in here, and if I put the fan on, you guys are gonna hear that really uncomfortable hum. Like, so yeah, it's long.
Can you guys hear my fan?
Have you got your fan on?
Yeah, I've got a fan.
I can't hear your fan.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Oh, wicked,
what kind of fan you got, big man?
Not a very good one, clearly.
Look at this guy.
Perfect.
This is the little tiny thing, isn't it? Right here.
Just blows hot air around. Right. I love it. Every year, I'm like, next year, I'm going to have enough money to buy myself a Dyson. Every time it gets around, I'm like, yeah, no, I can't pay for that.
No, F that. Listen, I don't think most of us are like, look, you'd rather just wait out the summer than spend the money on the Dyson. It's like, it's all right, I'll burn for a couple of months. Like, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah, literally. Top of the sheets. Yeah.
But like, obviously, let's get back to music. The state of UK music in general, like, what do you think of UK music in general? Not just as sort of like in your lane, sort of like R&B lane, but just the state of UK music in general. What's your thoughts on it?
I think lockdown has done a lot actually for the kind of the dance electronic kind of world, which is actually really ironic because we haven't actually been able to do that. But weirdly, I think so much good music's come out in that sphere, and I think people are leaning towards that. Maybe it's like a yearning to, you know, for happier days and just like being able to dance again and just being with people. And I think that's actually, I think that is particularly strong in a way that this certainly isn't in the States nearly as much. So I think that's an exciting time for that kind of space. I think as well, I do really like what, you know, the BBC Introducing do and how they support new and emerging artists. I think that's the emphasis of that this year has also gone really well. So I think there are exciting things that are happening, and I don't think it'd be fair to kind of say that, you know, it's been a complete dead year for music, because I don't think it has been. But I think live music, festivals, artists who have, you know, been growing in the last few years that haven't had those opportunities yet. I know I feel like, well, am I going to miss the boat because, you know, I want to play festivals and there aren't any. So I think that's obviously what we're lacking in terms of the state of the industry. But I think we all know why that is, and I think hopefully it's got an end date. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but
if like obviously the opportunity came along to work with more people in that sort of like electronic music space, like what would you take the opportunities?
Yeah, and not just because I think it would be a good opportunity, because I genuinely do like listening to that music, and it just depends what mood I'm in. That's the thing. Sometimes I might want to listen to really soulful jazz, R&B. Other times I might be in a mood to listen to like Paramore. I just think it just got to go with whatever you're feeling at the time, and I don't think I would say no to opportunities. Obviously, it has to be, you have to be interested in it, you have to kind of connect with it and connect with those involved, but I definitely wouldn't say no to going into that realm as well.
Cool. Sizzle?
Have you got any plans, you said? Sorry, can you
What?
hear me? Have you got an EP planned, or you just got only a couple singles releasing?
Well, initially it was going to be an EP, but because there's been quite a space between the first ones I release, and I do feel like they've evolved and it's gone in a slightly different direction. For me, I feel there's a bit of a project, but they will come out, and then I think I'll start working on a new EP. So I think they will be singles, because they're all quite different, and I think it just doesn't make sense for me to kind of just clump them together for the sake of it. But I have got ideas, and I'm working on a body of stuff, so hopefully that will happen this year too. But yeah, I'm excited. 2 new releases. It's just getting them out.
Do you think later this year or early part of next year we're going to be hearing that?
Oh no, definitely soon. I mean, I'll definitely be playing them live at the gig, and then the actual tracks will be, yeah, because they are done and I'm happy with them. It's just the classic, you know, figuring out when the release date is and kind of working towards that. But I would say, I keep forgetting what month we're in. It's all blurring into one. June, July, yeah, maybe
it's June.
Summer,
it's June.
End of summer. Yeah, I got there in the end. But yeah.
It's crazy how we all think that summer is like July, August time. That's because we've all come from we've all grown up in the UK. So but summer started back in like March or May. Like, you do know that, right? Like,
I know, I literally just said that, didn't I? I went, summer, it'll be out in summer. It's supposed to be in summer now.
Yeah.
It only feels like the last a week even. So yeah, maybe I just haven't adjusted to that.
Summer starts in England when the sun comes out, whenever it does.
But then I also think like school time, you kind of can't stop thinking about, school. Summer was like July to beginning of September. So I'm like, yeah, we haven't got there yet, even though I've not been in school for a million years.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
jealous, man. Too much time on school this month. Yes. Fully jealous.
Why would you be jealous, dude? Like, imagine going to university last year. Imagine that was your first year in uni.
Oh, don't.
Imagine. I said that the other day. I said, like,
anyway.
Say that again.
I missed so many lessons anyway. Half the time, because I was raving too much, I was twizzy. I was missing classes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But there would have been no raves to
but
go
I was
to.
out of choice. Yeah, I was out of choice. My brother was in his last year, so that wasn't great. But I mean, first year would have been the absolute worst.
I would have quit.
All the money, yeah.
I would have straight up. I'd be like, look, I'm coming back when everything's flowing again. Like, let me put my life on hold, bro. Like, Freshers Week is like the most amazing thing. Like, genuinely, like I think most students go there just for Freshers Week. I guarantee you, like, at least I say about 10% of people drop out after Freshers Week. Like,
yeah.
I think that
You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong.
check those stats,
Like,
but I guarantee someone definitely goes, right, I'm here. I'm gonna drink as much as I can, do as much crazy shit as I can, and in a month I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Hold on, Char, you attended Brits anyway. Describe that to us.
Being in like that environment again was just absolutely nuts. Like, just live music. So obviously we haven't had it in that way. Just walking in and just being like, oh my God, this is just, yeah, it was unreal. And I think I'm excited for more of that to happen. I mean, we did all the COVID stuff and all the tests and everything. And I think that probably is the way forward for the time being. And that doesn't bother me. You know, if it means that we can go to those things and like big scale events and stuff, then yeah. But it's just weird. And like, even though being around so many people and like no social distancing and stuff, and you're like, but you do adapt to it again. You walk in, you're like, this is really bad. Like, I'm not used to this. But yeah, you adapt. Someone's got a dog.
Yeah, sorry, my dog's kicking off at the moment. Like, I apologize.
Right.
See, I feel, listen, like my cough, my dog, I do apologize. It's not normally like this, I swear to God.
Right.
Like,
I
it's
literally
just
feel
nuts.
I'm getting so hot and just like need to like dance. Getting a cold shower.
No, fair,
yeah,
fair
I'm
play.
excited for just big scale live music. Hopefully we'll see some forms of festivals towards the end of the summer. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Strawberries and Festival is going nicely, so
is it? It's
I know
definitely.
them guys are going ahead. Unfortunately, I mean, you know, but we were trying to work with them, but this year just wasn't the year to fulfill what we wanted to do.
No.
They actually mentioned them. Girls Irate. They're actually working closely with
Yeah.
Girls Irate. To create a more female, more balanced actually. What's it called? Show, which is wicked. And more reasons like this is why we love to work with them. Yeah. That's why we love to work with them, because they're very good guys over there.
Yeah, they are.
Just really trying to push the boundaries and trying to balance everything. And they really, really, again, remember, we did Chris at the top of the year, didn't we? He was confident that this was going to happen.
He's really confident.
He was one of the few people. He was like, yeah, it's going to happen. How you so confident, bro? Well, he
obviously had that inside information. He's paid for the statistics and that. You know how it is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's half Nigerian, man. That Nigerian judge is working.
Oh God! Don't start that. So, Char, like, if you could play at any festival, what would it be?
Glasgow. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you could perform at any festival, what would it be?
It would be 100%, and I know, 100% Glastonbury. I went, say last year, but it wasn't last year, 2019 for the first time, and it is what the hype says it is. It's unreal as a place, as talent, as just losing all sense of everything going out, and you're just in this world, and there's so much going on. That would be the ultimate dream. I think it's exciting that, like Strawberries and Cream, there's lots of other festivals and focusing on different genres and stuff coming up, which I think is so needed in the UK. But in terms of up there aspirations, it have to be Glastonbury.
Fair play.
To manifest.
Yeah. Even if as a DJ, she would be Glastonbury, man. Why not?
Yeah.
Why the hell not? Brother, that is Glastonbury.
I don't think I would know.
It's Glastonbury.
You say it's just, it doesn't get much bigger than that. Let's be honest.
No,
What
it
about you
This
then?
guy has no respect.
It doesn't. No, listen, I'm not shitting on
You're so
Glasgow.
disrespectful,
Listen, if I could have got tickets for 2019, I remember when they came out and my pal was like, lads, are we doing this? I was like, yeah, hell yeah, we're going. And then we got zero tickets and I was like, oh, bastard.
Looks like we're not. It's so hard to get them. Yeah, we obviously
mate.
Stormzy headlined it, and yeah, that was just an insane year. And then we managed to get tickets for 2020. But obviously that didn't happen this year. So I've got tickets for next year. So I'm going again.
Hopefully that goes ahead. Hopefully that goes ahead.
Yeah.
Glasgow is a huge stage though, but I don't even know if it's like, in terms of DJing though, for us as DJs, I don't even know if that's
I would agree.
That's the stage. I don't even know if that's the stage. Like as a DJ, depending on what kind of stuff you do.
But I think what you're going off maybe is what you see in coverage, and I think there's a huge area of Glastonbury that you go into, and it's literally like you go into like another festival, and it's just the kind of that side of it, the DJ side of it. Oh my god, it's so there. It's just they're not going to be playing it on BBC One.
No,
so
of course
I think
not.
unless you go, you're just not going to see it. And I was like, what is this? This is just like another set. Me and my brother went with me. He was like, there's like 5 festivals in one when you're there. There is, I know it sounds really cliche, but there is something there for everyone. It absolutely, you can go to.
I see people taking their kids and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
There was people with like pulling their kids on like weird prams in the nighttime, and they had like headphones on them, and I was like, nah, just this, they should just not be here. This is not in the daytime, kids area. Just leave them with the grandparents.
I mean, it does appeal to like sort of like a family though. Like I feel like you could possibly take your grandparents but see what stresses me about Glasgow is like the whole camping side of things. I'm just not about that life. I'm just not about. Well, look. I tell you what. We went all the way to Germany for a festival, and most people were camping at this site. It was an insane festival. However, I had to spend extra money to stay in a hotel because I was like, yeah, straight out. Yeah. I was like,
nah. Just go for it.
You know what? To be honest, I reckon if I actually just got into it, I'd really enjoy it. But but like because I was like, you know what? I'd never done it before. We went all the way to Germany. I was like, hell no, I'm getting a hotel because I was like, I just didn't know what to expect. I was like, yeah.
When we were at Glastonbury, it was the hottest ever. It was ridiculous. It was like 34 degrees or something. Absolutely boiling. Not even a bit of rain. The whole thing. Which obviously we were glad it wasn't raining, but it was too hot. And I can fully say that we'd like crawl out of our tents in the morning and be like in this. Yeah, baking, like literally baking. And then obviously you can't shower. So we were just going and getting like big tubs of water and like filling them up and just chucking them all over each other. And I thought it was great. I had a great time. Dry shampoo.
Hey,
deodorant, good to go.
Char experience what it's like to live in Nigeria in a village. I like.
Hey, stop calling out the Jumanji, bro.
Listen, it's not even just Nigeria. What you just explained, right, is what, like, because I'm from the Caribbean, and that's the bush. We call that the bush life, like. And what people do is basically because they don't have running water in some of these like places. Like, and that's what people do. You fill up what you call like it's like a little tiny basin, and then you just throw it over yourself and quickly try and catch the water.
I can't compare. I think Glastonbury is way better in that respect. I can't say that I've had the.
Of course, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
It was fun.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Like, thanks for the experience because I actually didn't. I didn't actually know that there was that side to it where there was like the whole DJ aspect thing going on. I kind of just assumed, like stupidly, that it was just like the main acts, and I was going to see like these huge artists and stuff, and that was enough to sell me really. Like I was like, yeah, absolutely, I want to be in a main stage, seeing all these people and stuff.
No, there's like there's music 24 hours of the day, like no joke, and there's like areas that you don't even know that they're not on like a map or anything. You go in and it's just like there's like weird art installations, and it's like the rabbit hole, and you go in and it's like really just rogue random DJs pop up and do like sets in different areas that aren't on the lineup, and you just happen to stumble into it, and then you go into kind of weird all sorts of installations and people build stuff, and it's nuts. And there's way more than what you see on BBC One
on TV
covers.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Definitely get yourself there. Done deal.
No, we're gonna definitely looking into that, man. Got to get the gang up there. Might see you up there, Char. I'll wave to you.
See you there. Yeah.
Yeah, but in something that big though, like, what are the chances of actually running into someone you know?
I know.
Like,
there were so many people I'd see that were there. I was like, did not.
Did you run into people like that you knew, like pals and that?
A few, but there were people that I planned to see, like friends that were just with different groups of friends, and there was no reception. And I don't think there was some people that I expected to spend time with there, but couldn't ever get hold of because of the signal. You'd get home and you'd be like 50 missed calls from each of you, and I'd be like, well, that worked out well then. So you just can't lose anyone.
Yeah, sounds like it. If you lose your friends, it's a wrap. Absolute wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for that, man.
Sounds a bit like carnival when you get wasted, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I sold that to you. Hopefully Emily this will give me a call. And
yeah, listen, I'm definitely up for a bit of a Glasgow moment, man. It's almost like a rite. Like, say that again.
A rite of passage.
You gonna camp?
Yeah, it's a rite of passage. I feel like when my pal looked into it, he said we were gonna get some of those luxury cabins and that. So we'll start there. What I'll do is I'll venture out into the camping area to see how it's going on, what's going on in that. And then I'll make a decision on it for the following year. But I'm gonna start in like the nicer bits and then work my way down. Like,
I mean, I think it's supposed to go the other way, but you know, whatever.
I know. I know, but like that's just in case I don't like what I see. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going straight back to my my shower. Like, you know what it is? I think that's the one thing that puts me off. Is the fact that I can't have a shower. I think that stresses me to my core.
It's surprising how feral you become, and you just wake up and you're like, bit of deodorant, bit of dry shampoo, off we go for another day.
That's it, bro. Just get some water, snap it under your arm. That, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, we bought swimming costumes, and we like sat and we filled them up, and we just got in our swimming costumes, and we're just getting like, the water just pouring all over us. It was that hot that we were just like, that'll do. I think once we did that.
Jeez.
Not even every day.
In that heat, especially the way I rave, I'll be beefing like, oh no.
Wow.
Now think about it, I'm gonna side with Mason on that.
Wet wipes. Get some wet wipes.
Yeah, so I've heard about this wet wipe situation, and I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing no wet wipes. Well, there you go. But yeah, man, we're definitely going to look into that. Thank you very much for coming on to talk to us, though, man. It's been a really good chat.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been fun. I'm going to go and probably have a cold shower now because it's very hot and get fan in my face.
With running water.
Open all the windows and get some ice. Ooh. Yeah.
No, good.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you at Lev3ls Live.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what you're bringing, you know what I'm saying? So bring the heat, fam, you know what I'm saying? Come with the heat.
I shall.
I'm joking. I think it's going to be amazing because the last event, like the host of talent was just crazy, and I think you're just going to be amongst like like the same level of people. You're gonna be like sitting there like, oh my god, like they're really good, and they're probably gonna be like, oh, you're really good. That's kind of like the environment it was in, because it was like someone will go on and people will be like, oh my god, they're really good, and then the next person go, oh my god, that person's really good, and it's just like, Yeah, like it was just
Yeah.
crazy. It was just crazy. And then, you know, everybody was like obviously talking after and stuff, and it was just dope. It's just annoying that COVID kind of ruined the situation, but looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it.
Definitely. Soon. Well, we will see you all there.
Absolutely, man.
The aspect was wicked.
Say that again. Yeah. Because you get to network with other artists as well, and that's really good. Like in terms of like working with people and just, you know, getting yourself out there. So yes, fingers crossed they don't extend any of this nonsense, and we get to go ahead and, you know, everybody gets to just show down the place, and it's just dope.
Definitely.
Excited.
All right. Well,
thank you so much. Appreciate you so much for spending some time with us today.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Where they can find you, your socials,
yes.
Spotify, all of that. Let us know what everybody can do or to find you. Sorry. Yeah,
social wise, so it's Char Music UK. Someone beat me into the other ones, but it's fine. We'll get that. And then you'll find me on there, and that's on all my socials. And then also, if you want to check out my mental health charity, that's at Man Millennials. So, and also come to Lev3ls Lounge gig because that'll be great.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. See you later. Thank you for having me.
No worries, man. Thank you. Bye bye.
Peace, Mason.
Yo.
Peace and love.
What, bro?
Out.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, like.
I told you, looking crispy, innit?
Yeah, this is alright. I'm looking a little bit. I like the. You see that? I saw my dentist the other day. Can you see? Yeah. That motherfucker is charging me a couple £100, you know. I looked at the bill, I was like, oh. Yeah, but it is what it is. After I just splashed out for a new laptop, my man was like, yeah, we're gonna. I was like, but it's calm. That was a good chat though, man. I appreciate that, man. That was really dope chat. Say that again.
I said no. I'm just sending her a message. She's good people, man. She's good people, as I said. Just followed her. So receptive, so friendly, and it was just proper nice. Anyways, let's wrap up. So next week we've got, I think Char might actually know this brother. His name's Luke, but mad vocalist.
Okay.
Mad vocalist out of Essex. I think he just sold out Scala, King's Cross Scala.
Mud.
Imagine that, he's just sold that next out. So look at the levels we're dealing with here at me.
But, listen. It's Mazzolines. I couldn't even get no artists on Sunday. Because my regular show, I had like a slot at the end. I couldn't play my whole show. Like I had the whole show lined up, couldn't play the whole show because, long story short, I got a new laptop, had to download some drivers to work with the new equipment. That took a while. It was just no. So I've got a new Mac, and Apple, you know how Apple are sometimes with allowing other programs to work with them, and it's just annoying. It is annoying, and that cost me at least 25 minutes of my show, which was it was just a bit of a. But when you come on, I saw like your message. I quickly looked on because I was just trying to keep the show together. I'd literally just started like 5 minutes before that. Like I was watching
on silent, and I gathered because of the way. Because usually when you're in the mix, you're more focused than you are. You were laughing way too much for me. I was just like, yeah, he's literally just stuck. He's too jokey right now. He just started. You're so focused. When it comes to your spinning, you're focusing. Yeah, but
hopefully going forward, because that's just meant that I had to reformat my whole laptop. Unfortunately, the Serato file did not work on the new laptop. So thousands and thousands and thousands of songs now need to be requeued, reset up, rescanned. It took like almost like half a day for my laptop to scan all of the music in my...
Really?
Yeah, my laptop was just going off. And now it's just like the settings as well, because my S9, what happens is when you got an S9, if you've got Serato, it should save the settings. So my S9 set to my spec of scratching. All of that I had to go back and just respec because the file's gone. So I'm basically, you know what I'm doing? I'm starting from scratch. In a way, I'm kind of grateful, but at the same time, it's a scramble to get everything together for the raves that I've got to do coming up.
Yeah, I mean, just little by little. I think if you do an hour a day, do an hour a day, you'll be fine. But I think honestly, that's me right now these days. I'm not obviously DJing like you. Record box for me right now is sweet, bruv.
Yeah.
Plug in that USB, sort out my playlist, boom, sync up that. All my music's been synced already. Like everything's been read, BPM wise, all of that set. I'm not going as crazy as you said. Q points. I cannot be bothered. I was just on the day, scroll through whether on the queue it, yeah, cool, slap it there, boom, done. I'm alright.
Yeah, I know. But the reason why I do that is because it makes it easier for me to mix stuff, and I do certain things on the fly. So if it's not set up previously, it's hard to set it up on a day when you're trying to, you know what I mean? But yeah,
I'm putting myself in a very bad light right now. But I said it in the last show. I'm not as like you and Mr. Bounce, the other guy Oni that we had on the week before, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Honestly, you two are just super organized and cold. I'm the scraggly one who's like, yeah, I can hold my own, but I'm not as I'm freestyling.
Imagine what you would be like if you were organized, though, because I always used to be like that as well, and I just said to myself, I'm gonna become organized and I'm gonna get it together, and it's definitely been a positive to my sets and stuff.
Do you know what? Do you know why though? I'm not like that because there's sometimes I do so many mixes randomly, and I've so many different genres sometimes that I like that freedom. Do you get what I'm saying? As sometimes I feel if I structure my thing, I'm sticking too much to this. It's predictable, even though it's not predictable for the thing, for the audience. For me, it's too predictable. I'm just like, you know what? I actually want to slap up flipping Hot Since '92 with a Missy Elliott track. I've done that before. And people are like, no, what the hell mix was that? And I'm like, I'm just having fun, bruv, and it's slapped. You like it? Wicked.
There's always that one person that tries to tell you to do what they would like to be, you know?
Fam, the first time I ever DJ'd, I'd never really DJ'd. I thought the mix was cold. I was 2 garage tracks. I think it was 702.
Yeah.
What's it called? What was the track 702 did? You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I did You Don't Know, and I mixed that into, I don't know, like say something like the Architects, Body Groove, right? Or I did it vice versa. And the guy, rest in peace, he actually passed away not that long ago, rest in peace. His words is always stuck in my head. He says, I think you stick to your day job. And in my head, I thought the mix was so cold. But I just realized maybe these guys are actually on the same wavelength because I mixed. It was You Don't Know as a slow-paced garage tune, if that makes sense, because it goes and Architects is dim dim dim.
But that people don't
gives you up the bass, so you can't. Some people don't like the slow with the fast mix. I love that. I love the tempo.
They don't. They're not really about. They don't. The thing is, you'll do certain things sometimes as a DJ, and people will just be like, "What the hell was that?" Because it's like you know, as if you're trying to create something, but they don't really know what you're trying to create, so it kind of becomes like, you know, it's a bit of a mess for them. But it is what it is, man. My bro, I'm gonna go eat my dinner because I didn't even get a chance to do that. Today was dope. I'm looking forward to next week. And everyone out there, keep the music coming. Hopefully this Sunday I'm going to do another section, or the planned section that I had for last week. on new music, and I'm just going to be dropping hits, man, like for UK artists. So yeah, let's keep that going.
Let us know who you're playing. Let us know who you are playing.
Also, because I got a new laptop, sis, you're gonna have to resend some music because my old laptop is gone.
I hope they expired. I hope I even downloaded them. We'll see. All right, no problem. I'll got you, man.
Or I could, I don't know. Yeah.
Peace and love, everybody. Take it easy.
It's been a mosh. See you later, bro.
Peace.
Learn life. It's levels to the shit.